Well, hey everybody, it's Chris here at Test the Speed Shop. And today, we are replacing front end bushings on a B-body mopar.
Fun.
Yeah. You can hear all the enthusiasm we have.
Yeah, it's all fun and games.
So, this is where we're at right now.
You need something.
You need a bungee cord. That could be alright. Of course.
So I need to find another spot.
Well, what we've done so far is we took the whole brake assembly off. And now everything's loose. Yes, it's loose and squeaky.
Yeah, it's changed.
So what we did is we backed the torsion bar off, so there's no tension on anything now.
Yep. Do that first.
Yeah.
Do not attempt to do it without taking that torsion, or you will get killed.
And then got the drum assembly off, or the brake assembly, so now you can do your uppers. And now we got to get the lower control arm out, because there's one bushing. Oops, I'm sorry. There's one bushing, and we got to get the strut rod out of there too. And then we got to drop the torsion bar out. That'll probably pull out with the upper control arm, or the lower control arm.
Yeah, well, we got to take that key out of there, that clip out of the torsion in order to back that torsion out.
So, all right, we're going to move forward, and we will update you with some progress as we move along here.
It's moving along.
All right.
I got to take this cover.
Well, we got everything apart. There's the torsion bar sitting there. Didn't get the upper control arm off. We still got to get that off yet. Got the lower control arm up here. Tom's going to have to take it in. He's got to press it apart, because we got to take this stud out of here. Because there's your torsion bar adjuster. But you probably can't really see it very well, but you can see where the bushing is just junk. There's nothing left. There's chunks of it missing and everything else. So it's pretty much done for.
Yeah.
So we got all new bushings, new upper control arm bushings, new lower control arm bushings, and we got new strut rod bushings to put in it. So that's where we're at right now. So he's going to get that stuff pressed in. I guess tomorrow we'll try and get this upper control arm out. We're doing one side at a time because we weren't quite sure what we were going to run into with this, because we've never taken one of these apart before. So we'll do the driver's side then later. But we'll do the driver's side after we get this done. But once we get rolling here, we should be able to get it all done and get it all back together. And it's just a question of getting it lined up. So, and that's where we're at now. Trying to get this done so he can head down to Tennessee. So, alright. We'll get back to you. Oh, hey everybody. Back with you. Back to working on the Coronet. Tom's going to explain the shit show that is pressing in a lower control arm bushing in a B-body Mopar.
Yeah, it's quite involved to get this bushing out of that lower control arm. It's tighter than what you think it is, and this metal that they make these out of is pretty strong. I can't see you trying to get this out by hand without a press. So if you got a press, you're better off. Once you press, go in here with a punch or a hardened steel rod, and you press this out, and the whole guts and everything come right out of this once I pressed it out. Now I was using a 5-ton hydraulic press, and she went to 3.5 tons before it even made this move. So that tells you how tight this bushing is in that lower control arm in this thing. And once I press the shaft out, the sleeve come out with it.
Yeah, the sleeve's in the box over here. Where is it? Here, is this it? Yeah, here it is. This is the inner sleeve.
I scored it a little bit with a cutting wheel, and then I took a hammer and just kind of hit on it all the way around, and it loosened right up on the shaft and come right off. That part of it was not a big deal. I wouldn't cut it all the way through if you don't, because you don't really have to. Just take the hammer and hit around it, and it loosens right up on the shaft. It comes right off of there. Well, once you get that out, then you go ahead and pull the inner bushing out, and that just comes right out with a screwdriver. And then you got to push the outer sleeve that's in there. And what you're going to do there is you're going to get a washer.
I got it, Tom.
You're going to get a washer. This is an inch and a quarter diameter washer, and get one that's really thick. Don't get a real thin washer. And if you got access to a welder, that's great, because that's what you really need to do. Just go along there and weld it on two sides really good. I put a nut in the middle because my washer had a really big hole, so my press, the hardened rod that I use on the press would just go right through it. So I put a nut on there, and then you go from inside again on the same side that you did your shaft. You go in here with that and press this, and it just presses right out. Now it took my press got up to 4.5 tons before it made that move. 4.5 tons, and my press is 5 tons. So you can just imagine how tight these are. They're really tight.
Yeah, you're not going to beat that out with a hammer.
I can't see you chiseling.
Or even chisel that thing out of
I don't even think you could cut that and get it out. Chiseling it, that casing's so hard. I mean, it made racket coming out of there. It was that tight. It's that tight. After I cleaned everything else up, I was ready to install the new one. And you can do these two ways. You can go ahead and, which I would probably do this on my next one, and I'll tell you why. Go ahead and press the shaft into your sleeve first, and it's tight. It took 3.5 tons to put that shaft down in there, and there's a shoulder on the shaft that must mate up with the shoulder on the inner bushing. You got to mate the shoulder to that bushing, so you can see it really well if you push the bushing in, the shaft in the bushing first. And then take your bushing, and you want to preset that bushing into that pocket first. Get it straight, going in there straight first before you try to press that in. Because if you go crooked, you're gonna mess the bushing up. And what I did was I pressed the bushing in first. And then what happened was, when I went to press the shaft on, the shaft, because I didn't have nothing on the back side of this supporting this inner sleeve, it actually tried to push the sleeve out the back of the bushing. So I had to get a piece of pipe made up. Yes. I had to get this little piece of pipe and slip it in here to mate up to this right here on that sleeve, to support that sleeve on that press, so I could press the shaft down on that bushing so the shoulder would mate up to the bushing. And that, when I did that, everything was okay. It went down good. It took almost 4 tons to get it down. It's tight. This stuff is no
There's
joke.
no way you can do this with a hammer and a freaking
not doing it
vise
correctly.
or in a damn ball joint press or anything like
No,
that.
if you got a ball joint
tool, you're
just gonna
probably gonna
kill
bust
yourself. Because it is that stuff. This bushing is no kidding. No wonder alignment guys complain about doing these, because it is that tight. It's, if you don't have a good press, you could probably get a good one. I'd get at least 5 tons at the max. I mean, that's what it. Mine went up to 4.5 tons just to put this bushing down in that sleeve. So,
Jesus, that's insane.
yeah.
And the other thing he did is that we were reading on the internet, and they were saying that this actually spreads out here. Now this is meant to turn.
Yes.
This is meant to turn like this because this is
from the factory. It does have a little. It has some slop to it. Has some movement, and that's from the factory. That's how they have that set up. But some of them over time get more movement than that, because this spreads over time. Will spread out because there's no support back here. So what I did was I welded a plate. I set the distance on. I checked the distance on the other side, and I just mimic it on the other side. I squeezed this in with a pair of C-clamp, squeezed it in until it was snugged up some more. Not real snug, but just the same distance as the other side. And then I welded a plate down on it, and it held that. So it tightened this up a little bit more than what it was, but it's you don't want it super tight. It's gotta move. So
yeah, this is where you do your adjustment. This is where your adjustment on your torque or in your torsion bars comes into play.
Yep.
Because right down in here on these sides here is right where the piece goes, and then your bolt goes in. That little cut piece inside here is where your bolt actually rides for your adjustment on your torsion bars.
Yep. That sets your ride height.
And then your torsion bars actually go in the back of this. So this is where your torsion bars actually plug into. And then over here is where your strut rod goes into here, and then that runs out to your front part of your K-frame. Some guys were actually welding these the whole way. They were welding the plate in this the whole way across here. But it's like Tom said, he didn't want to get in here and mess all this up. Plus, I don't really see much of a reason to do that. You have this support here, and that's enough to hold it.
Yeah.
So
you just want to hold on, keep it from, because once you got all this.
Yeah, once you got that boxed.
Once you got all it boxed up in here, there's not going to be a whole lot of movement. What they're saying is that there's some twist movement, you know.
Yeah, this actually flexes because
some.
This is open at the top here. Because it's not a complete weld on. If you look on the other side, it's not a complete weld.
No, they just have this bump stop welded. Yeah. The bump stop plate welded to it.
Just this little plate here where the bump stop's at.
And that's all they have to keep that from flexing.
Man, what a freaking shit show to get this thing apart.
Yeah, it's a. Yeah. If you do not know what you're doing, I wouldn't attempt it. But it's new. But my bushing was bad. My bushing was bad. I had no choice but to replace it. But
yeah,
I just have access to a good press, and you just gotta. If you got a press and you're doing it, just take your time and support everything, and make sure you that you have the proper tools and stuff to press these out, because you're not going to do it by hand.
Well, the hell of it is even after you get that rubber out, you can't go in between here, because this piece that's pivoting up here is actually,
it's all one big sleeve.
This is all one big sleeve with this piece and everything. So you can't even go in here. This is
part of that sleeve. This all goes.
That's what goes to your torsion bar.
Yep.
So you can't even get in here and jam. You can't even collapse that sleeve down like you can on a General Motors or on something to that effect, because Usually you can get the rubber out or burn the rubber out, and then you can just collapse the sleeve down and just get it out, or cut it and relieve it. But on this, you can't do that. There's no way to do it. Now, I saw on some videos where they were saying that guys took them and they actually chiseled this thing down and put a strip down through to try and relieve it that way. But good Lord, I can't even imagine trying to get a chisel down through this thing.
I didn't even attempt it because it was.
That's pretty stiff.
It is. It's hard. It's hardened metal. It's hardened.
It's hardened.
It's hardened. It's no.
Wow.
It's hardened steel. Whatever they. It's hardened.
So it's not even like a mild steel you can even bend real easy.
I mean, you have to have some good sharp chisels. Probably. You might be able to dig that like that, but you're going to be at it for hours.
Well, you know, and the assembly manual told you to do that too.
Yeah.
To chisel it.
Yeah.
Jesus. How the hell? I don't know. Maybe Chrysler had some special tool that they gave those guys to use. I don't know.
And you can't, you cannot put any kind of lubricant on them to put them back in. You got to put them in dry. You don't want to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got to put it in dry.
They don't want you to grease them or nothing?
There's some kind of sticky stuff on it, but I wouldn't. I'd press them in dry. But just make sure you start to get the bushing nice and straight going in first. I just set mine up there and I tapped it with a hammer and got it started straight in that sleeve before I took it to the press and pressed it in. Because you probably don't want to take a chance of pressing that in crooked.
Yeah, because then you'll just screw
the bearing.
Yeah, you'll screw the bushing up
real
and
bad.
everything. Yeah, you'll twist it and mangle it, and then you won't be able to use it.
Nope. And I almost screwed up when I pressed that shaft in, because if you don't support that sleeve on the other side for that shaft before you press that shaft in, you're going to blow that sleeve right out of there. You're going to push it right out the back end, and then that's just going to be, then it's going to be no good.
That's nuts.
It's a learning curve, but...
Well says. Well, I'm glad we tore one side apart and not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only took one side apart because basically we wanted to know how to do this. And we figured if we could get this side down and figured out, then the other side will go a lot easier. So this is the learn on side, and then the other side should be the actual do.
Yeah, and what I've learned is that the next one I do is I'm going to press the shaft on the bushing first. That way it's got good support before I press it on there. That way that I go, and then I'll just press the bushing and all right in the.
Yeah.
I'll just have to find something that I can press against on that bushing. So,
well,
I mean, that's what I've learned so far on it. It's tougher than what it looks. It's tougher than what it looks.
I know a lot of you guys have B-bodies. I know Big does and Jed.
Yeah, most of the cars that I saw on the internet were all it was E-bodies. It was Dusters, which is the same.
Well, it's the same principle.
Thing.
Yeah.
Same principle.
Yeah.
But
I know a lot of the guys that follow us have Darts and Chryslers and stuff like that, so this will benefit them.
Yeah.
All of what you're going to get yourself into if you try to do this at home, and this is just something to think about. I mean, usually when we do General Motors stuff, we just beat the living hell out of it with a hammer.
It's just simple to do General Motors.
You can usually use a ball joint press and, you know, heat the rubber up and collapse the shells and get everything apart, but yeah, this is a whole new ball game here. I mean, you might be able to get this apart with just brute force and just beating the piss out of it, but the press is probably the easiest way to go. I mean, it is with the General Motors cars, but with the General Motors car, at least you can get it apart if you need to.
And I mean, there's guys, I've heard guys are, heating these up to get this apart.
Yeah, but I don't know if you'd want to do that.
I don't think I'd tempt faith in heating on any of this, especially where that torsion bar.
Well, and you start heating it, and the other thing is that you heat up that arm, and you get it too hot, and then the molecular structure changes.
The temper's going to be going.
Yeah, the temper's going to change on it.
And you might
just bend.
You might break the adjuster arm.
Yeah, because that's just cast.
And that's just cast.
Yeah, that's just
so
cast.
So if you put a lot of heat on that, you take a chance that when you go to put the ride height back on it with that torsion on it, it might just snap because you took the temper out of it if you heat it too much. And I wasn't about to put any heat on that because I didn't know I didn't know where you could put the heat on it safe enough to even get that, to get the sleeve out.
That's
so
a good question. I have no idea.
I wouldn't attempt it.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's last. I mean, that's a last ditch effort.
Yeah.
If it's seized in there or something.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, when we learn something, we'll pass it on to you guys. Now we're going to tear the upper one out.
Yep.
I'm sure we're going to learn something on that too, and we'll share that with you also. So we're going to get to it. We're going to mark our eccentrics down here. I don't know if you can even see. It's so dark. Yeah, there you go. You see the nut down there? Let me see if I can zoom this stupid thing in. There we go. Right there's the eccentric. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a chisel and we're going to mark it. We're going to smack it right on top of that lip and on that washer, so that we can match that right back up when we put it back together. Of course, this is probably all going to change because, I mean, I'm sure the bushings are pretty much shot on the upper control arms.
Yeah.
And since they're probably gone, it's probably all going to change the alignment. But we want to get a basic setting on something so we can just get it down to the alignment shop and get it back together.
Yeah.
So, but that one's there, and then the other one's in the back.
It's
Back here, but you can get it from under the car. There's like a little shield you can push in, a little rubber shield you can push in. So we're going to get that out. He's going to take that in and press them out. And I think probably tomorrow, we want to just start on this other side tomorrow, Tom. Might as well just,
yeah, we might.
Might as well
get it off there so I can go get it pressed.
Yeah, we'll start on this side tomorrow.
It's going to take press to do the bushings.
Yeah.
Especially that floor.
Well, if we get this tomorrow, it should be easy to get this side apart. And then I won't be here Saturday, so.
Well, if I can get everything pressed in and ready to go, I can start.
You can start assembling it. But yeah, that's pretty much where we stand right now. So, all right, we're gonna get started, and we'll get back to you. Now we got the upper arm out, and if you look in this one here, there's supposed to be rubber inside that right here, and there isn't.
It's all gone.
And then the other cool thing is that the I can't move it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Not supposed to do that.
That bushing is doing nothing. And this one is the same way. This one here, the rubber is actually, you can actually kind of move it around with your fingers.
It looks like it's, yeah, it's gone.
It's nothing there. And then you can spin this one around.
What you're not supposed to do.
And yeah, look, it's actually cutting into the bushing, Tom.
Yeah.
That kind of bushing's all, see how it's all screwed up and stuff? Like it's been cutting into the bushing there.
Yeah.
So, yep, junk.
Junk.
No good. So, 50-year-old bushings just, you know. Yeah.
Those probably never been replaced.
No, but they don't look like they're too awfully hateful to come out. They're only pressing into this here.
Yeah.
So, what the hell's going on out there? I think you're going to get another storm. Yeah, so that doesn't look like it'll be too awfully hard. There's our new bushing here. You can kind of sort of see the difference. It actually has rubber and it doesn't slide back and forth. So, yeah, buddy. So, this actually wasn't too bad to get out. These are the eccentric bolts here. And this is what does your caster and camber and stuff on your upper control arm.
You know which one goes where?
This one is the front one. Should have a, that should be the passenger side, because it should have a mark in it. This one is the, this is the rear one. Oh no, this is the front one.
Yeah.
That's the front one.
It's the rear.
And that's the rear one.
Okay.
So I don't know how you want to do this. We'll do it this way. Front, rear.
Yep.
But that's your eccentric
Gotta
bolts.
keep them together.
That's what we marked, one of them here, so we can at least try and get an alignment. You probably can't really see it on here, but we nailed it with the center punch because, of course, this is a hardened washer. And you just beat the piss out of it and don't do nothing. And then this one, we tried to mark it with a Sharpie, and I don't even know where we marked it. I'm assuming back here somewhere, but I don't see it. The mark's gone, Tom.
It's right there. Right there.
There
I
we
marked it down on the low side of it.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I see it right there.
A little.
I see it. Should probably put a grinder to it.
Yeah.
Then we'll definitely see the damn thing.
There it is right there. I think.
So you want to mark them. Both of those washers are the same on either side, so when you have it set for where you set it at, like in the front here, we're going to set it. We have some marks we cut into the lip there where they would hold it. And once you have that first one set, the second one behind it's going to set the same too. So you don't have to go setting either. You don't have to set each one of these. They'll just set themselves once you get one of them set.
Yeah.
But we're just going to set them so we get them actually kind of close so that we can at least get some sort of alignment on it, so we can at least get it down to the alignment shop. So that's it for now.
Yeah. Good. I'll press it.
We'll get back to you.